The Vanishing of Clara Monroe, the disappearance. On a chilly October evening in 2018, the small town of Red Hollow, Oregon, was shaken by the disappearance of Clara Monroe, a 28-year-old librarian known for her quiet demeanor and love of local history. Clara was last seen leaving the Red Hollow Public Library at 7:32 p.m., captured on grainy security footage as she locked the front door and walked toward her car. Her blue Honda Civic was found the next morning, abandoned on a dirt road near Blackthorn Woods, with her purse, phone, and keys still inside. There were no signs of a struggle, no fingerprints, no witnesses. Clara had vanished without a trace. The case gripped Red Hollow, a town of just 4,000 where everyone knew each other. Clara wasn't the type to run off. She lived alone in a modest apartment, had no enemies, and was engaged to her high school sweetheart, Daniel Harper, a local mechanic. The police, led by Detective Sarah Ellison, launched a search, combing the woods and interviewing residents. But weeks passed with no leads. The story spread beyond Red Hollow, catching the attention of true crime enthusiasts online who began dissecting every detail on forums and YouTube channels. The investigation begins. Detective Ellison, a seasoned investigator with a knack for spotting inconsistencies, started with Clara's inner circle. Daniel was cooperative but visibly distraught. He claimed he'd been at home watching football when Clara vanished, a story corroborated by his neighbor's Ring camera showing his truck parked all evening. Clara's co-workers described her as reserved but friendly, with no recent changes in behavior. Her phone records showed routine calls and texts, mostly to Daniel, her mother, and a few friends, except for one oddity: a 12-second call to an unregistered burner phone at 6:45 p.m. that night. Ellison's team scoured Blackthorn Woods, a dense forest with a history of local legends about missing hikers. They found nothing: no footprints, no clothing, no signs of Clara. The car offered little help: no DNA besides Clara's, no unusual tire tracks. The only clue was a single crumpled receipt in the glove compartment for a coffee shop 20 miles away in Pineview, dated the day before her disappearance. Clara had no known ties to Pineview, and no one recalled seeing her there. Online, amateur sleuths speculated wildly. Some pointed to Daniel, citing statistics about partners in missing persons cases. Others theorized Clara had stumbled onto something dangerous, perhaps tied to the library's rare books collection, which included documents about Red Hollow's shady logging industry past. A YouTube channel, Mysteries Unraveled, posted a viral video suggesting Clara's disappearance was linked to a supposed cult in Blackthorn Woods, though no evidence supported this. A hidden past. Ellison dug into Clara's background. Born and raised in Red Hollow, she'd been a straight-A student and volunteered at the library since her teens. Her mother, Ellen Monroe, revealed Clara had been researching the town's history for a personal project, focusing on the 1980s logging scandals that bankrupted local families. Clara had recently requested access to restricted archives at the library, including land deeds and legal documents tied to the now-defunct Blackthorn Logging Company. This piqued Ellison's interest. Blackthorn Logging had been owned by the wealthy Carver family, whose patriarch, Harold Carver, was rumored to have bribed officials to clear protected forests. Harold died in 2005, but his son, Ethan Carver, still lived in Red Hollow, running a real estate business. Ellison interviewed Ethan, a polished man in his 50s, who dismissed any connection, saying he barely remembered Clara. But his nervous fidgeting and quick dismissal of the logging scandal raised red flags. Meanwhile, a volunteer searcher found a small silver locket in Blackthorn Woods, half buried near a creek. It was engraved with CM, Clara's initials. Forensic tests found no DNA, but the discovery fueled speculation. Was Clara trying to leave a clue, or was the locket planted? The burner phone. The burner phone lead took Ellison to a dead end. The number was disconnected, and the phone was untraceable. But a breakthrough came when Clara's best friend, Mia Torres, came forward with a confession. Mia revealed Clara had been acting secretive for weeks, mentioning something big she'd uncovered in her research, but refusing to elaborate. The night before she vanished, Clara had met Mia at a diner and seemed paranoid, checking over her shoulder and whispering about someone watching her. Ellison cross-referenced Clara's library records and found she checked out files on the Carver family's land deals, including a 1987 lawsuit alleging fraud. The plaintiff, a former logger named Thomas Reed, had disappeared shortly after filing the suit. His case was never solved. Could Clara have stumbled onto something related? Ellison tracked down Reed's daughter, who lived in Seattle. She claimed her father had evidence of illegal land transfers, but was scared off by threats from powerful people. She had no proof, only her father's old journal, which mentioned a safe deposit box in Pineview. The Pineview connection. Ellison drove to Pineview, where the coffee shop receipt led her to a small bank. After obtaining a warrant, she accessed a safe deposit box registered to Thomas Reed. Inside was a faded ledger detailing payments from Blackthorn Logging to local officials in the 1980s. One name stood out: Harold Carver. The ledger suggested millions in unreported profits, funneled through shell companies. Clara's fingerprints were on the ledger, proving she'd seen it. Ellison now suspected Clara's research had uncovered corruption tied to the Carvers, putting her in danger. She confronted Ethan Carver again, who denied any knowledge but seemed shaken. That night, Ellison's car was followed by an unmarked black SUV, which vanished when she called for backup. The incident wasn't enough to make an arrest, but it confirmed her suspicions. Someone was watching. The breaking point. In early 2019, a hiker found a woman's scarf in Blackthorn Woods, identified as Clara's by her mother. It was torn and stained, but again, no DNA or clear evidence. The case was growing cold and public interest waned, though YouTube channels kept it alive with increasingly outlandish theories: alien abductions, serial killers, even time travel. Ellison refused to give up. She obtained a warrant to search Ethan Carver's property, where she found a hidden room in his basement containing old Blackthorn logging files and a burner phone matching the number Clara had called. Ethan was arrested, but he claimed the files were his father's and the phone was a coincidence. Without direct evidence tying him to Clara's disappearance, he was released. Unanswered questions. As of 2025, Clara Monroe's case remains unsolved. Ethan Carver moved out of Red Hollow, and the library archives were mysteriously damaged in a 2020 fire, destroying most of the logging records. Detective Ellison still believes Clara uncovered something the Carver family wanted buried, but without a body or concrete evidence, the case stalls. Online, true crime fans continue to speculate. Some believe Clara is still alive, hiding from danger. Others think she was silenced to protect a decades-old secret. The locket, the scarf, and the ledger remain the only tangible clues, each raising more questions than answers. Red Hollow has moved on, but Clara's story lingers, a haunting reminder that some truths may never come to light.